Remember how a little while ago there was a lot of drama on my channel and I guess the internet in general, a lot of it circling around Anna Kasparian concerning U.S. retail lobbyists and their claims regarding the epidemic of organized retail theft. You might recall drama around a specific group of San Francisco stores, which all claim they had to close because of the extensive shoplifting in the area, a bunch of right-wing fear-mongering over marauding retail theft gangs, and all this concluding eventually with, I believe it was the Walgreens CEO who said, "Hey guys, sorry, we kind of lied about how much shoplifting is happening." You remember that? Hold on. Walgreens CEO shoplifting. Here we go. From earlier this year, Walgreens, New York Times, Walgreens executive says shoplifting threat was overstated. Chief finance officer, or not chief executive officer. Maybe we cried too much last year over theft. You know how rare it is for an executive at a massive retail chain to say, yeah, sorry, we were big babies. We were big crying piss babies. We lied, sorry. So, the Walgreens CFO admitted that, but Walgreens was not the only retail company making these claims. As a matter of fact, an organized group of retail lobbyists working in conjunction with each other and security teams have been making the claim that organized retail theft is responsible for as much as 50% of missing merchandise in retail stores. Take a look at this. Here we go. Now, you might notice from the title of this Reuters article, U.S. retail lobbyists retract key claim on organized retail crime, that they might not have been honest when they said half of it was being done by organized retail theft. You might be able to interpret from the title of this article that I'm about to poo-poo on the claim that 50% of breakage was down to organized retail theft. So, the main lobbying group for U.S. retailers retracted its claim that organized retail crime accounted for nearly half of all inventory losses in 2021 after finding that incorrect data was used for its analysis. A spokesperson for the National Retail Federation said Tuesday that the organization had removed the sentence from its report on organized retail crime published in April. It produced the report in collaboration with private security firm K2 Integrity. Thinking, using my big brain, why would retail lobbyists work in conjunction with a security firm to overstate the threat of organized retail crime? I'm thinking. The research, which was edited in late November, previously stated that nearly half of the $94.5 billion in inventory losses reported by retailers in a 2021 survey, quote, was attributable, end quote, to organized retail crime. So organized retail crime it's not just an individual shoplifting. It's, you know, those videos you've seen of like a bunch of people run into a store, grab everything they can fit in their pockets, then run out like that. You've probably seen fewer videos of that recently than you saw about a year ago, almost as though there was a coordinated fear-mongering campaign that was being pushed by right-wing news outlets and politicians as a way of overstating the threat posed by this particular kind of crime. You know, I haven't seen anything like that in months. It's weird how the, news cycle selectively pushes this. Is the Walgreens CFO a trans person? Is the Walgreens CFO vaxxed? Is the real question. The NRF's claim that organized retail crime accounted for nearly half of inventory losses was repeated in multiple media reports on the issue. Wondering if there's an issue with uncritically reporting opaque research conducted by retail lobbyists in conjunction with security firms. Wondering if perhaps some kind of, unbiased socioeconomic analysis, some kind of, anything maybe might be a good kind of double check on this, but nah. I'm sure the organized retail theft claims made by the organized retail lobby are trustworthy. The NRF has cited growing rates of crime in calls for Congress to pass new laws, just in case you thought they were doing this for fun, including proposed legislation that would broaden the scope of offenses considered organized crime and increase potential penalties. Yep, it's police state business, guys. A set of private companies were working together in a lobbying group to lie about the preponderance of organized shoplifting as a way of pushing largely right-wing politicians to arrest more people people and arrest them for longer. This is, and I am not exaggerating, the core essence of fascism. The collaboration of corporate and state elements to use the police state in order to further corporate interests and corporate interests to further the authoritarians in government. This is the loop. This is literally the loop. It's not unique to this situation. It happens all the time in little and big ways, but this is about as pure of an example of it as you're going to find, Very straightforward. According to NRF spokesperson Daniel Inman, the claim that organized crime accounted for nearly half of all inventory losses was based on 2-year-old testimony from Ben Dugan, former president of the advocacy group Coalition of Law Enforcement in Retail. Oh, so that's where they got their data from. A testimony from a guy who led Coalition of Law Enforcement in Retail, just really wondering about the reliability of this data. Guys, politicians repeated this. So-called progressive commentators repeated this. No conflict of interest whatsoever. In 2021, he told a U.S. Senate committee that organized retail crime accounted for $45 billion in annual losses for retailers, according to estimates by the coalition. The inclusion of the claim in NRF's report was, quote, taken directly from Ben's testimony and, quote, was an inference made by the K2 analyst linking the results of the NRF survey from 2021 and Ben Dugan's statement made the same year. I love gigantic legal pushes for more policing based off a 2-year-old testimony from a cop. I love that shit. K2 Integrity did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Dugan could not immediately be reached for comment on how the coalition calculated the $45 billion figure. I don't think they're going to give answers to these questions either. And it goes on like this for a while. Oh, it even mentions that the Walgreens CEO, here it says CEO, but it was the CFO who said that, right? The Walgreens CFO told investors, maybe we cried too much. Love that, by the way. Wonder if there's actually, I'm thinking, I'm using my huge brain right now. I wonder if there are any consequences to the stock price of a corporation that is constantly overstating the extent to which it is being assailed by shoplifting. I wonder if it's actually a really dumb and short-sighted strategy to constantly scream to all of your investors, hey, our stores are constantly getting pillaged by marauding gangs of poor people. I'm wondering if all of this is retarded. I'm contemplating right now if this isn't all just retarded and fascist, like just on every level, like everyone involved, just complete morons and evil demons, as they all are, all the time. Oh, don't worry, there's more. NRF data from its annual retail security survey indicated the percentage of shrink attributed to external theft, including organized retail crime, has largely remained around 36% since 2015. Oh, okay. So the NRF, that is the group that's been doing this lying, says, okay, well, it's not been 50% attributed to organized retail theft. However, it's about 36%, generally as a product of retail crime, which makes you wonder, is there any other evidence that we can take a look at to determine how much breakage actually is because of organized retail crime? Like, for example, if there was a New York Times article on the subject that just answered that question, retail group retracts startling claim about organized shoplifting. The National Retail Federation had said nearly half of the industry's $94.5 billion in missing merchandise in 2021 was the result of organized theft. It was likely closer to 5%, experts say. Just, overestimating it 10 times. Just, a slight discrepancy in the data. Probably not. This came out yesterday. So right before this came out, they retracted their key claim, which makes me wonder if the only reason they retracted their key claim is because the New York Times writers who are writing this article reached out and asked for comment. Like, hey, how do you reconcile your data with the fact that this analysis says it's likely closer to 5%? Then they hastily retract the claim, then the article comes out. Just my guess. I can't know for sure. Just a guess of mine. Slight guess. The group, the National Retail Federation, edited the claim last week from a widely cited report issued. It's shrinkage, not breakage. Doesn't breakage mean like stuff lost in the okay, shrinkage. Widely cited. The only reason I'm saying that is because of Breaking Bad. Remember? It's called breakage, Jesse? Whatever. Widely cited report issued in April after the trade publication Retail Dive revealed that faulty data had been used to arrive at the inaccurate figure. So there we go. The trade publication Retail Dive was the one that initially broke the story that the data was faulty. And then U.S. retail lobbyists retract their claim, presumably in anticipation of articles on the subject, and then this article comes out. Almost certainly it went something like that. The retraction comes as retail chains like Target continue to claim that they are the victims of a large shoplifting operations that have cut into profits, forcing them to close stores or inconvenience customers by locking products away. So, who here has been having a worse time going out shopping lately because everything at your local grocery store or big box store or whatever is locked behind big plastic cabinets that you have to call somebody over to open? Because, like, this is all over the place. Like, I assume it's a bigger issue in, like, big cities because that's the area where they would make more claims about shoplifting or organized shoplifting or whatever. But, like, it's a broader issue. Hey, who here has noticed that security in grocery stores or whatever else used to be either non-existent or like a guy in a polo shirt, usually like an off-duty cop who's just picking up some extra wages to make some more money? And now there's a dude in like full like tactical like SWAT gear standing there at the front like with guns. Like they aren't just standing there, they're armed security, you know? It's insane. And it turns out that this entire push is because of an anecdotal piece of, literally the testimony of a cop who was the president of the law enforcement retail organization. That's it. Everything that's happening, this entire nationwide decline in the standards of our shopping has been because of retail lobbying groups lying. They're lying. This is not like a mistake. You don't mistakenly base a gigantic lobbying claim off of a single testimony. One testimony. Wasn't your first job working security at a department store? Yeah, not my first, but yeah. And you know what? I wasn't real security. I was loss prevention, which meant it was my job to wear all black clothing and stand at a pillar and do nothing. If anyone shoplifted anything, I did nothing. I didn't have a weapon. I didn't have anything. I did have a cool walkie-talkie, though. That's the most security should be. It should be a zit-faced 16-year-old in, like, a black button-up shirt that doesn't fit him and some ill-fitting, like, belted-up black chinos standing there awkwardly and staring at somebody as they clearly walk out of the building holding a bunch of stolen merchandise. That's the essence of loss prevention. That's the American dream. Did you ever punch someone? No. You kidding me? Absolutely not. The claims have been fueled by widely shared videos of a few instances of brazen shoplifters, including images of masked groups smashing windows and grabbing high-end purses and cell phones. But the data shows this impression of rampant criminality was a mirage. It's almost as though progressives shouldn't immediately fall for coordinated right-wing / corporate retail campaigns pushing for more like cops and stricter sentences and more laws on account of like some viral reports of mass shoplifting and some tenuous, slim data. In fact, retail theft has been lower this year in most of the country than it was a few years ago. Some exceptions, including New York City, dirty city, exist. But in most major cities, shoplifting incidents have fallen 7% since 2019. That's right. Not only do we not have this massive, like, organized retail theft epidemic that they lied about, but shoplifting is now less common on average than it was before COVID. Before COVID! Organized retail crime in which multiple individuals sell products from several stores to later sell on the black market is a real phenomena. That is true, said Trevor Wagner, the chief economist of the Computer Communications Industry Association, who has conducted research in retail data. But he said organized groups were likely responsible for just about 5% of the store merchandise that disappeared from 2016 to 2020. He emphasizes that there's, quote, a lot of uncertainty and imprecision in measuring losses because it's difficult to parse out what is shoplifting and what is organized crime. Mr. Wagner, testified in Congress in June about the discrepancy in the National Retail Federation's report. Even as it retracted the figure and revised the report, the Federation, which has more than 17,000 member companies, guys, this lobbying group is literally like American retail. It's like all of them. Insisted in an emailed statement that its focus on the problem was appropriate. Oh, wow, what a surprise. Even after being proven to be liars, they're like, okay. So our data was wrong. We based it all on one testimony. We lied. We worked in conjunction with cops to lie, to push for laws that would have more cops and more harsh sentencing or whatever. Okay, however, in spite of the fact that we've been proven liars, okay, we're still in the right, okay? our focus on this issue is still appropriate. It's not an issue at all that we're wasting taxpayer money with like subsidizing store security by having cops in and around it. It's not a problem that we're lobbying to Congress for like more harsh punishments on shoplifters. It's not an issue that what we're trying to do will essentially make things worse for everyone. It's not an issue that every shopping every like commercial retail endeavor now in a major city involves having to wait for some guy with keys to come over to unlock the toothpaste so you can take some for home. No. Okay, all of that is fine because of we stand behind the widely understood fact that organized retail crime is a serious problem. Wait, hold on, sorry. Vosh, FYI, the whole organized retail crime thing started because during COVID, California decided to not send cops to respond to burglaries that were less than 1,000 in value stolen. Cons took this and ran with it. That's when videos started getting published. Yeah, this is what I mean by, like, police state fascist bullshit. It's literally like, hey, the authoritarians that are in Congress, the cops and retail orgs that want the state to subsidize their security costs all work together. Retail orgs want all of you in prison. If you have ever shoplifted like one candy bar out of a store when you were like 17 years old or something, they want you to rot in prison. They hate you. They despise you, okay? Why? Because they're the bourgeoisie. They're demons. They hate you. They don't relate to you. They don't think you're people. You are wallets to them. You exist to shamble in and out of their stores and give them money. Any disruption in this process is punishable by death as far as they're concerned. More policing, more laws, harsher punishments, lobby to Congress, lie about the data, misrepresent, work with right-wing figures to push a bunch of highly viral but non-representative videos of people doing mass organized retail theft, get more people arrested, get more people locked up. This is what led to broken windows policing back in the 90s, except at least back then there was a bunch of crime. Now there isn't. Like, this isn't even this isn't even a product of any actual trend. The trend's been going down. Thanks, Ragamundus. This is happening to keep prices high too, right? Well, like we saw with the burst of inflation like a year ago, yeah, corporations will take literally any excuse to raise prices. It wouldn't surprise me if you could like get internal data showing that a significant portion of the just arbitrary price increase we've seen in a lot of retail products has been down to them like fronting bullshit security claims or the desire to like make up money lost through organized retail theft, which as it turns out is barely happening. Mary McGinty, a spokeswoman for the Federation, said the error was caused by an analyst from K2 Integrity, an advisory firm that helped produce the report, the security firm. And then they cite Ben Dugan's single testimony, which was the bedrock of this multi-year like craze, you know? Mr. Dugan was citing the Federation's 2016 National Retail Security Survey, which was referring to the overall cost of shrink in 2015, not the amount lost to just organized retail crime. Okay, so he was lying then. That's what he was doing. He was lying. Yes, excellent. Alec Karakatsanis, actually not as hard to pronounce as I thought it would be on first glance, a civil rights lawyer who has studied and critiqued how the media has covered organized retail crime, said the retraction underscored how some news organizations, which have extensively covered the issue of shoplifting, were, quote, used as a tool by certain vested interests to gin up a lot of fear about this issue, when in fact it was pretty clear the facts didn't add up. True. I wonder if I take a look at Google Trends, I'll be able to see a massive uptick in the coverage of shoplifting. Let me see. Past 5 years. Not for the term shoplifting, though for some reason there was a massive spike right here. I don't know what this would refer to. Sometime in late 2021? I don't know what happened there that would have caused that. It was me, I just kept hitting refresh. Ah, okay, gotcha. I don't know, some high-profile case of shoplifting. I'd be willing to bet that if we looked up, aren't you looking right at it? Actually, wait, you're not wrong. That was late 2021, and the bullshit in San Francisco was also late 2021. You could be completely correct. It's entirely possible that that spike was actually singularly a product of the news cycle following this event. One of the most prominent examples came in October 2021 when Walgreens said it would close 5 stores in San Francisco, citing repeated instances of organized shoplifting. The company's decision had to come months after a video seen millions of times showed a man, garbage bag in hand, openly stealing products from a Walgreens as others watched. But an October 2021 analysis by the San Francisco Chronicle showed that police department data on shoplifting did not support Walgreens' explanation for the store closing. Eventually, Walgreens retreated from its claims. What would motivate a corporation to close down a bunch of locations and then, based on the virality of a pre-existing video of shoplifting, blame shoplifting for it? What set of political and social motivations could lead people who are, bourgeois interests, I would say, to bring up a law and order excuse for them not being able to maintain their locations in this area. It makes me wonder if there's just any like innate relationship between authoritarianism and the interests of the capital class that sort of I don't know, leads them towards certain types of behavior, certain lies. I don't know. It's a little bit of Marxism, you know. Some people may have written on this. No, Vosh, it's because of the birthing persons. Would you call the CEO of Walgreens a birthing person of lies? Let's see. Mr. Karakatsanis said the exaggerated narrative of widespread shoplifting was weaponized by the retail industry as it lobbied up Congress to pass bills that would regulate online retailers, which they claim is where much of the stolen product ends up. Oh, so there's that element as well. They want to restrict online sales and make it easier to crack down on them because they want to keep their brick and mortar stores open. I don't necessarily have an issue with regulations on online sales because the current state of like the Amazon shopping market is insane and you can just get any bullshit like regardless of what you order. But really don't think this is the right way to be going about it. Commentators and politicians have seized on the issue. Earlier this year, Governor Gavin Newsom responded to reports of large-scale thefts in the state with a call for tough prosecution of shoplifters and a plan to invest millions to fight organized retail theft. Thank you, noted California and New York City really united in being progressive bulwarks that have the worst, shittiest leaders, you know? Eric Adams and Gavin Newsom, my personal ship, okay? Thank you. Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican of Florida, signed a bill last year aimed at retail theft. Maybe instead of debating, Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis could have gotten along, actually, and debated other people together in a 2v2 on how much they agree that the way to deal with retail theft, which they only are getting info on from a lobbying group, requires more laws and crackdowns. That's great. Love this. Love that. I love it so much. Isn't it crazy how somebody as powerful as the governor of California, who theoretically has billions that they could direct towards any number of causes and has the attention of some of the most active and capable research groups in the country, would rely on a lobbying group claim that was the product of opportunistic jumping off like viral videos and also a single testimony from a cop 2 years ago. Isn't that great? I love that, you know? It's not like, again, like sociology, the only field that you can enter and graduate from where literally no one in power will listen to you. Nobody, you know? What was it that I said before? Mathematicians have to prove their theories twice before people will believe them, okay? Sociologists have to prove them an indefinite number of times for no one to believe them. And former President Donald Trump called for violence, telling Republican activists in California this year the police should shoot shoplifters as they're leaving the store. Because ultimately that's what this is all gesturing at. The crackdown based on fake data, the capital class's interest in weaponizing the state as a way of protecting their moneyed interests. This is ultimately what it leads to. It leads to strongmen saying that, like, you can see this all over the world. Right-wing authoritarians claiming that like retail theft or theft in general are a product of some kind of widespread social disease, a degeneracy, and the vermin need to be cleansed. This is very common rhetoric, you know, the invocation of like fascist social in-group, out-group dynamics as applied to people with or without money or people who do or do not commit crimes. It's like fascist 101 shit. It's like, it's not even like, let's do some analysis. It's just very straightforward. And we're all just joining in together. And Gavin Newsom might not have said the cop should shoot people who like shoplift or whatever, but Gavin Newsom is a part of this trend, you know? Just because you are not representing like the craziest out there version of this trend doesn't mean you're not contributing to it. And it gives Republicans a lot of leeway when even Democrats are giving into this. There's no Y in that name. Yeah, it's California, okay? Gavin. Mr. Wagner, the chief economist of the Computer and Communication Industry Association, said National Retail Federation's report in April immediately struck him out as wrong. The error was troubling because the Federation has long been viewed as a trusted provider of data for the industry. Maybe we should re-examine the extent to which we trust data from corporate retail lobbies. I'm thinking. It's pronounced Wagner? Yeah, but this is funnier. What made the Federation's mistake even more surprising, Mr. Wagner said, was how starkly the figure contrasted the group's own previous findings. In 2020, the Federation said in a report that organized retail crime cost retailers an average of $719,000 per $1 billion in sales. So 0.07%? I guess that's kind of like 50% if you squint a little bit, you know? That's like, yeah, that's like 1/80th of 50%. It would be a bit like the census claiming nearly half of the US population lives in the state of Rhode Island, Mr. Wagner said. Fantastic stuff. And again, despite how obvious this lie was from the get-go, that did not stop politicians and commentators from jumping on it, including so-called progressives, like, say, I don't know, the governor of California. I hate this country. I hate these people. I hate the bourgeoisie. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. You know, so many times we've heard that phrase. What is it? You know, scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. And it's overly simplistic. I guess maybe scratch a capitalist and a fascist bleeds, or perceive scratch a capitalist and a fascist bleeds, or perhaps show a video of a capitalist being scratched conceptually and teach the capitalist that by turning towards fascism they could potentially increase their profit margin by working with the authoritarians in the state to subsidize their security costs and regulate online retailers, therefore protecting them as the economy shifts by allowing cops to protect them rather than hiring private security firms. Bleeds? I don't know. Something like that. Piece it together. God, I hate it. I hate it. Rolls right off the tongue. New phrase. I hate them. I hate them. I hate... Yes. I hope you all understand the reason why. I wasn't going to stream today, but I needed to cover this. There's nothing to debate, Benjamin. I'm right, and I was always right, as I've always been right on this particular issue. There's no debate to be had. It's pathetic that anyone could have fallen for this. The claims were uncredible to begin with, and we were relying on the people most likely to lie, you know? Can you... I don't even, like, we're literally like taking data, like opaque data, directly from the orgs who have every incentive to lie. They're lobbyists. Like, lobbyists have specific goals. Why would they not lie to achieve those goals? Sometimes they tell the truth, but they're capable of lying too. Like, we might as well be going back to like research from the 1960s and whether or not cigarettes are good for you by Camel. You know, why not? Since this is who we're trusting. I think you could convince him. Well, if he can't be convinced at this point, Cenk's argument's emotional. Cenk's argument is that he stands by Anna, and I have no idea what the fuck she's been smoking, so I don't know if I could convince her.